Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of Flemma Chats. I am your host, Josh Fleming.
Chats.
Flemma Chats, yeah, that's what we're calling it right now. That's the title for right now. You know what I mean? We'll see if it needs to change. But like I said, I'm your host, Josh Fleming. I'm here today with Ramon Garcia from Takozz STL. We're going to talk a little bit about the business itself, talk a little bit about Ramon, kind of dive into that. And then if anybody here in the chat has some questions, maybe we'll ask, you guys can ask a question for him as well. But to kind of start, I just want to kind of welcome you in, man. Well, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time out. How's your day been going so far?
Man, my day's been going good, man. Started a little bit early, but I'm happy to be here and happy to be a part of this. So.
Dude, I love it.
First podcast.
Come on, I love it.
There.
Absolutely, dude. I'm excited about it, man. Whenever you agreed to do this with me, I got really excited. So, the first thing I want to kind of do is I like to kind of get to know the person that I'm talking to before we talk about the topic at hand, right? So the first thing I'd like to know is tell us a little bit about your story, like your upbringing, like what inspired you to do what you're doing, that kind of thing, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, man. Well, first of all, I was actually born in Mexico, so I come from immigrant parents. Myself was an immigrant at one point. We came because this is the land of the opportunity, man. And my father was the one who migrated first, and obviously little by little, sending money from here to down there, and eventually my mother and myself ended up here in the States. So I did a little bit of school in Mexico, and I did a little bit of school here in the U.S. as well too. But even into my early days, man, I did some elementary here. I did some elementary in Mexico. I graduated from elementary in Mexico.
Okay.
Came back in middle school, went back and forth. So, I got to experience both countries, at a young age, and see the cultural differences, which was pretty neat. I am actually blessed and thankful that happened, because that definitely helped me and shape who I am today and the way that I view everything. And but I was raised in California, LA. I did college in the Bay Area up north, so San Jose, Palo Alto.
Nice.
I got into the corporate world, man. I felt that there was something different for me out there, and I decided to pursue wireless. Very young age,
sure.
And I was making really good money then.
Yeah, right. I can relate. I can relate.
I mean, we used to sell the first smartphones, the Blackberries with the little, thing on the side, and
yeah, okay.
Well, trackball came after.
That's true. This
was the side,
right?
Yeah, the side scroll. But no, one thing led to another. I started climbing the corporate ladder, man, and I wasn't being fulfilled, man. I just wasn't. I felt like there was a lot more to it, especially with my past experiences that me and my wife had in the past. I felt like there was something greater out there, man.
Absolutely.
So yeah, here we are today.
I did, and it's panning out for you too. Shout out to your wife as well. We love her over here, Flemma Chats and everywhere. You know what I mean? She's a great person too. Good family that you've got for sure. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about so you wanted to try something else. What about starting a small business was intriguing to you, or what got you interested in doing that? Because that's a big endeavor. That's a big deal to kind of jump from, like you're saying, you're making good money, you're working in an industry that's growing, especially during the time that you're in it. It's continuously you see a future there. There's a long runway. What inspired you to take that risk and do something for yourself, to start something on your own?
I think throughout my time in wireless, I would meet different kinds of people, different, ways of life, and I don't know. I'm a little bit like yourself, trying to get to know people and everything. So I was always intrigued of what they did and
Sure.
what they enjoyed about it and how they got there. And, soon enough, I started realizing that essentially, for me to be able to experience what I want to experience and to do what I want to do in a certain kind of way, I essentially have to apply everything that I learned and put it into motion, but something for myself and for my family. But I will tell you that my biggest driver, my biggest motivator, I mean, I don't want to say I always knew, but I come from a family of merchants, right? From way back then, my grandfather, it's a really interesting story. He used to sell leather goods, specifically huaraches, which is those Mexican sandals.
Okay.
And that's how he got his family ahead, between that and farming and, my great uncles and everybody else essentially kind of, were merchants from back in the day.
Sure.
And like most of my uncles now, my dad's siblings, my mom's siblings, and everything, they have their professions. Essentially, I was kind of like the one who kind of went a little sideways and was like, nah, I want to be a merchant. I want to
Sure.
have a business. I want to do something completely different. And it wasn't until we were about to have Gianna, which that's my daughter.
Hmm.
She's 6 now. Um,
Crazy.
that I decided, right, the time has flown by.
Yeah, man.
I decided to make a jump, and one thing I will say, it's I was being smart in a way where I started saving a little bit here and there, and wherever that I could, because I wanted to be ready to make that jump.
Yeah.
Now that I know what I know now, I mean, you're never going to be ready. You're
Sure.
never going to be ready. I mean, we're talking about Takozz today, but I mean, I have started multiple other business, lost some money, things didn't pan out,
Sure.
things were a joke or got taken advantage of, and but
Yeah.
but it's all part of the process. And if it wasn't for my daughter, I think it would have taken me a little bit longer, right? And then
Sure.
at that time, I had a really good mentor, a friend of mine, which I met through wireless as well too, which he made the transition a little bit smoother for me, and because of my trust in him and his level of pedigree in business, I decided to make that jump. And I mean, shoot, everybody thought I was crazy. We were just recently building a house. Our daughter
Sure.
was on our way.
Sure.
Some people said that I was probably not at the top of my career, but I was so young and still continuing. I mean,
Right.
I started with wireless in the West Coast, and I ended up in the Midwest because of wireless. And I mean, there was still probably opportunity, but like I said, going back a little bit, I wasn't being fulfilled. There was time to find something, and if the time was then, because otherwise I would never do it. Because once I had my daughter, I mean, it would have been a lot scarier to make that jump, even though people might think it's a little bit different, right?
Right.
They thought that it was scary for me to make that jump because of everything that we had going on. But I
No,
mean,
I
my wife is great. She's my biggest cheerleader. She was the one who told me, just do it. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
And so I did.
I appreciate that, and that's something obviously my girl is only 6 months old, but I get that too. Like the idea of people would think this is like the worst time to kind of try to take that leap or to do something like that, but it's inspiring in a way because you look at what she's gonna see, right? And I'm not trying to speak for you, but if it coming from where I like the perspective I have at least, it seems like you want to be you want to inspire her. Right. And so like I totally get that as a motivator. That's really awesome, to be honest with you. And she's going to look at you, I
Yeah.
think, going forward, and that's going to be inspiring for her. She's always going to be like, my dad was able to do this. What can't I do? And that's really, really, that's amazing, in my opinion, for
Right.
sure. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
now.
we tend to have limited beliefs, and I just want to make
Sure.
sure that she doesn't grow up with those limited beliefs, because I mean, you really could do whatever you want, man. If you
Absolutely.
put the time and effort, things don't happen overnight. You got to be
Right.
patient. You got to trust the process and just do it.
And that's a great segue into the next question that I have for you too. Is like, so you've got some experience on your belt, like you said, you've tried, and some of the first things I remember, the what was it, the coffee shop, the vape shop. I remember what was that called? It's right down the road from
Green
us in
Forest
Fairview.
Vapor Shop.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember Green
yeah,
Forest.
yeah.
I know that there was a whole mess going on with that too, but I remember that. I remember that first thing, and then now you've got Takozz, and Takozz obviously is taken off the way it has. What advice would you give to someone who is at that beginning stage? Like you said, there's so much that you learned now that you could have done then that might have helped you be more prepared. What advice would you give to someone trying to follow in your footsteps, start their own business, branch out?
I say the biggest advice that I will give anybody or myself again is to believe in yourself, man. You just have
Love
to
that.
believe in yourself.
Yeah.
If you have an idea, there's a reason why you have that idea in your head. And if it continues to pop over and over and over again, it's because there's something there, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, that's when you have to realize, obviously, you have to be smart about it. You have to see if that's a viable idea, right?
Sure.
Start seeing, how you're going to implement that. Start seeing how you're going to set a plan together. Then go and start executing that plan and see where it's going to get you. But, going back to not having limiting beliefs, man, you know, I'll be the first one to tell you, and I have told people that are close friends to us that they'll tell you, I started with this idea of a taco truck way back then. And some people, it's funny that now that they see it, they knew I had no idea.
Sure.
I'd never been in the food industry. I never built a food truck. I never bought a food truck. No idea. I just had basic knowledge on business principles. And, thankfully for wireless and all my career and my years with them, they train really good leaders. They train, people in a very good manner. And I utilize all those skills that I know. And, I kind of put them together in a way that, okay, I know I have a product or service, right? I know I need to have some sort of branding towards it, right? I know I need to make sure that I'm solving for an issue or a problem or to make somebody's life better, right? It's crazy to say this, but I didn't do tacos because of money, man. My biggest driver to make tacos was because it was a challenge, number one.
Sure.
And number two, I wanted to help a friend of mine have his own business. He didn't think he'll have a business as successful that we have it now, but it was always, I don't want to say that it wasn't reachable, but he didn't know where to start. So
Sure.
within that, me being able or wanting to or having a little bit of knowledge to help him, that's kind of what my driver was there.
Sure.
That way, I can prove to him, because many people came before and, told them that they'll help them and this and that and the other. And here comes a guy with no money, no experience in the food industry. And I knew that I believed in myself and I knew what I can accomplish. And I was going to knock on doors, get those answers. And the rest, I don't want to get too spiritual or godly, but, everything else is going to be guidance.
Sure.
Everything is going to fall in place if you're doing what you're supposed to, man. But believe in yourself. Don't have self-limiting beliefs, and just do it. You're never going to be ready. Just follow it, and obviously have a good support system.
Yeah.
My wife is a great support system since the beginning, and anything that I have done, my family. A couple friends, I picked up a few mentors along the way. And, within that, always get back, like whatever these mentors and these people and the support that these people are giving you, make sure you're giving it back to somebody else, because there's going to be somebody else in line ready to make that jump that you're getting ready to do. And then you're going to be able to look back and help them out too, because, life is a circle, man. You get what you put in.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more with that. And that's another reason why I was so, I knew, reaching out to you, I knew that you had that in your heart. I know, you and I have interacted mostly through your wife whenever we'd had get-togethers or what have you. You stopped by the stores that we worked at, but I knew that was in your heart as well. So I knew when I reached out to you, I was like, I feel confident that when we have this conversation, that all of these good things that I've heard you say before, speak to, would come out, and that I feel like that's happening for sure right now. So I want to kind of, if it's possible, and I don't want to intrude on his own personal self. I don't want to try to blow him up, but I would like to ask a little bit about who you're talking about, right? So this is the person you're referring to. I forget his name, but he's the one that's actually he makes his recipes, or is it his food that's being made for tacos?
Yeah. So Lalo, his nickname, his name is Eduardo.
Okay.
Lalo is like a brother to
me.
It. He's like my older brother, man. And obviously we come very similar backgrounds.
Sure.
Right. But he's the one that has the restaurant experience. He actually had managed several restaurants for over the last, 15 years in the area. But he has a story himself, which is very, very interesting. And I hope one day I can capture this and share it with our friends from Takozz now, right?
Sure.
Everybody becomes friends and family. But he used to help his mother make tacos. So in Mexico, to this day, in little towns, the women, the way that they help the family and the way that they bring, money to the table and for the family is that they cook their best meals in the evening, whether it's only on the weekends or during the day, but they sell dinners. and whether that's enchiladas or street tacos or flautas or you name it.
Sure.
I had several aunts that did this, and we had a few neighbors growing up that they used to do this. So I grew up going to. We had a neighbor. I want to say that she probably was an aunt, but like a little bit far away. You know how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But she used to make the best enchiladas, man. And she just had a little thing outside with a little bit of oil and everything, and she's frying the little shells and then making the enchiladas, rolling them up with a little bit of cheese, a little piece of chicken on the side,
Sure.
a little rice. It was just delicious. So, anyways, Lalo used to do that, and that just kind of the whole story. When I found that out, it kind of took me back to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And funny enough, a couple of trips that me and Shasta, my wife, took to Mexico, I wanted her to experience that. So we used to, we got married in Puerto Morelos, Cancun,
Okay.
is the closest Playa
Sure.
Playa del Carmen, sorry.
No worries.
So we used to go, walk around the neighborhood and everything, and you will see people, selling, little food outside their homes.
Yeah.
So we got to experience that with her, and because to me that's kind of what takes me back, like where I came from, right?
Yeah.
Like my roots. And to hear Lalo's story, how he used to help his mom sell tacos at nights, helping her set up the fire and helping her flip the tortillas and stuff like that. It was something really special. And then obviously the recipes come from that region, his mother, right? So like when I had my mother try their food, my mom was like, "Oh my God, like this is very close to our region over there," because everybody thinks about Mexican food, but it's very regional. The certain flavors are regional.
Sure.
And to find something that you'd really like that it kind of takes you to home is kind of hard to find.
Yeah.
Hence why, Takozz was born, because, we would try tacos, and there's good food in the area. There's great people in the area that have amazing restaurants, but it wasn't home, right? So it wasn't until we met Eduardo and we tried his food, and, just one thing led to the other. And he's very, very passionate about his food, man. He's probably one of the most passionate people that I have seen when it comes to his process and the way that he cooks and the way he preps things and everything. It's something really special. Him and his wife, they're a great team. They do great stuff together, man. And that's why between me and him, we have a saying. I don't get in the kitchen, and he doesn't get involved with the office stuff, right?
Sure.
Like we kind of separate ourselves. But don't get me wrong, I kind of like to get in the kitchen once in a while and just mess things up a little bit, or make a little plate or something, just to keep it interesting.
Yeah. What would you say is your specialty? What are you the best at making?
Oh man, I'm a sucker for a good taco, man.
Yeah, come on.
I really am. But like some of the crazy things that I get in there and do is like make a burrito. We don't sell burritos, but make a burrito out of like French fries and veggies. I think back home they call it like a California burrito. Right?
Okay.
And add some meat or just stuff like that, man.
I love it. No, that's awesome. I was curious. As soon as you said that, I was like, I got to figure out what he's making. That's awesome. Right. That's really, really cool. I know we said I don't want to take you too long. I do want to. There was one more question I wanted to ask for sure.
You're the driver, brother. You're the driver.
I appreciate it, my dude. So let's see. So we already talked about that a little bit more. So. And you kind of already touched on this a little bit. So this question is pretty vague, but I think it's one that can spark a conversation a little bit. So you talked about like the region that Takozz comes from is very specific, right? And that taste of home, right? That makes it distinct. What else would you say? Because you see taco trucks or food trucks, they're a dime a dozen most of the time, right? You see a bunch of them, and a lot of them you see do really well, right? But then a lot of them you see kind of just rise and fall really quickly. But you've been able to find a way to maintain that success, right? And a lot of that I think has a lot to do with your food for sure, because Lalo is making some great stuff. Like every time I go, it's always consistently great. But what would you say has helped you guys to distinguish yourselves from other taco trucks, other food trucks in general, and then also now restaurants that you have, like you have the brick and mortar store in Fairview?
Right. I think I mean there's like you said, right? There's several out there, and there's great people behind them.
Sure.
There's really great people behind them, and and good food out there. You can't please everybody, right?
Right.
And we have always said that the sun shines for everybody. It doesn't matter if we're selling the same kind of food. At the end of the day, what's going to set you apart is your flavors, right?
Sure.
Besides the flavors, it's the personal connection, and the people have been able to be part of our team, from the beginning, or even the people that are joining us now to be part of our team and staff with Takozz. One of the biggest things that I like to touch base on when I get lucky and I get chosen to kind of train them or whatever.
Sure.
It's making that connection with our customers. Making a real connection with those customers. Be genuinely trying to find out how their day is going.
Sure.
I think we live in a society where we're just go, and if it's not in front of our screens, nothing else around us matter, right? And it's being able to take it a little bit old school, back in the day where people used to enjoy to do business with one another with a handshake and a look in their eyes, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's very similar, because when I'm in the front and I get the opportunity to be in the front, whether it's the food truck or whether it's the brick and mortar little restaurant inside the mall, it's being able to conversate and make those connections with our customers. Some of those customers have become friends.
Sure.
Many of them, to this day, we still talk, or whenever we see each other, it's like, oh my God, like no time has lapsed.
Right.
And just I just want to make something clear. I mean, not everything that you see out there means you're being successful. And yes,
Sure.
Takozz, it's being recognizable in the local area, but we're still in our infancy. We still
Yeah.
got a lot to learn.
Sure.
We started the truck back in June of 2021, and little by little, and with the help of the community and everybody that has supported us, we are where we are because of them.
Sure.
And I'm always grateful to that, and I'm always grateful, obviously, for the team that I have. Eduardo and his family, my family helping along the way. But it goes back to the connection, the personal connection. That being able, to impact that person, whether it's a small little interaction, but just I tell my staff, I'm like, we got to bring smiles to people's faces.
Sure.
Right? We really have to, man.
Yeah.
Because if they walk away from there with a smile, they're probably gonna smile a couple more times after that.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I think that you're right in this world that we got, where it's very easy to do business with someone or just talk to people and just feel that you still feel just as alone or just as isolated as you did when you started. Like that face to face, that ability to be able to do that, I think is something that's a lost art in a lot of ways. So seeing you use that to your advantage is great. And yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to make sure to do is, because I don't think I did establish it at the beginning, is kind of establish what Takozz is, right? So you have a truck. And then you also have the brick and mortar store inside the mall in Fairview Heights. So I had people in chat that were asking specifically about it, but that's right now the physical location is in Fairview. And then the truck, do you have you have certain places you can go? What's your range for the truck right now?
So the range for the truck is it's really, if logistically it makes sense with our schedule, right?
Sure.
So in the past we used to have a couple spots that every Tuesday or Wednesday we used to be at, or like farmers markets. Now the truck it's becoming a vehicle more so for private events, so like graduation parties, bridal showers, weddings, corporate lunches,
Sure.
Employee appreciations, which is the ones that we see the most, which is really nice to see that, these big companies, middle to small businesses are really, doing something little nice for their employees. It's quite nice to see. But, birthday parties, that's another big one. Birthday parties, little kids love trucks, so even little kids parties.
Sure.
We have a menu essentially that allow us to be able to serve, certain kind of foods to little ones, but the schedule for the truck changes, right?
Sure.
And I think as we get into this new season, Obviously we're going to be at certain food truck parks. That's already in the schedule. We have a couple of festivals actually coming up that we're excited to be part of. Some of the older ones, that they gave us a chance when we first started,
Sure.
and they keep inviting us back over, which is great to see. But then we also have a couple new ones this year. I just actually got notification from the staff over at the Vine Street Market in O'Fallon, Illinois. They're such a great organization. They do a tremendous job out there. But they approved us for the dates for this coming season. So Takozz will be at the Vine Street farmers markets this season as well too. So it just depends. The easiest way to do it is just follow our page, right?
Sure.
We try to do put our schedule out there where the truck is going to be. But obviously the quick service restaurant inside the food court, it's open 7 days a week from
Sure.
11 to 7:30, I believe 5:30 on Sundays. And we close 30 minutes prior than the mall does. And it's only because we're the guys with pots and pans, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of pots and pans that we got to wash. And,
Absolutely.
we like our staff to get out of there at a decent time, not stay there too long,
Right.
But yeah, it just varies. It just varies. But we'll put all the dates out there, and obviously, people do a great job actually messaging us to see where the truck is going to be out next, and
Sure.
we try to do a good job in staying on top of our social media and messaging back and let them know when the truck is going to be going out and whatnot. So, but
Absolutely.
yeah, if you have a party, it doesn't matter. I mean, we've gone as far as Wentzville.
Okay.
I mean, we've been all over the place. If the truck can take us, and we have the availability, why not?
Absolutely. No.
Staffing, right? The staffing.
Right.
Staffing
No,
is
yeah.
huge
I'm
right
sure that's a huge part of it as well. I was going to say, so also too, on this, for those who are watching and for those who see it on YouTube or on Twitch, you should be able to see I have links to the Facebook and to the Instagram for Takozz. It's just at Takozz STL for both of those. So feel free, like he's saying, if you want to take a look, you want to find where the truck's at, or go, if you want to go to the mall, obviously you have those standing hours. But I love the idea. So what's the next festival that's on the agenda for you guys?
Parties in the city, corporate events, but nothing open to the public.
Sure.
So this one will be the first open to the public. Obviously, the event, the event people that are putting this event together, they've done it a couple years in a row already. This year, they reached out and they invited us, and we decided to pursue it because nothing was on the schedule. Every year, it seems like when there these big events, especially around tacos and margaritas and kind of like the Hispanic culture, it seems like we always are busy or we have something in the event. So this year, we kind of did it strategically in a way where we try to reach out, and if they didn't reach back out, it kind of happened. But some of them did reach out and they told us a date, so we started saving those dates because we wanted to, be part of that.
Yeah.
Those kind of events, because we never really been those events. So this will be a nice little test for Takozz going across the river, man.
I love it. I'm excited for you guys. And you best believe I got family coming on Saturday, so I know where I'm taking them for sure.
Nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, cool. So that's really a lot of the questions that I wanted to ask, and I think a lot of good information. So one other thing before I end here now, I've got, I don't have Zoom Pro, right? So we got 5 minutes. So I want to make sure to keep this as brief as possible. But what do you see for the future of Takozz down the road? Like 5-10 years down the road, what is your goal, right, for what Takozz is going to be?
That's a long time, man.
Sure. No, absolutely. It's a tough question. I totally. Sure, absolutely. I mean, if you wanted to, we could also shorten the timeline a little bit. Like, I guess just like, are you planning on you're going to be trying to broaden out, or are you still like, this area is good right now? Like, what is that immediate future looking like, or that down the line?
I will say that this side of the river, we're thankful and we're blessed because they keep us busy. They keep the truck busy between our community, local small businesses, large businesses. They keep the truck busy, right? So it's gonna get to a point that it's gonna get challenging, especially after we try to pursue the permits across the river,
sure,
where we only have one truck, right? I mean, we do have the brick and mortar here, which it kind of solved for the answer as before when the truck was getting booked for private parties. we couldn't have our regulars there, right? Obviously, but now with the brick and mortar, they can go there even if the truck is at a private party.
Right.
But 5 years from now, I really see ourselves having a fleet of trucks, maybe a couple more.
Love it.
That way we can penetrate the St. Louis region a little bit better.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to food trucking. I mean, there's a lot of demand when it comes to food trucks. I mean, every year, and it started already. You know, where I'm telling people that I'm sorry, I'm booked. So I'm usually referring it to other people in the industry that I know, and I'm passing over the information to them to see if they're available. But
love that.
You're gonna see a big boom, and I'm part of a couple exciting projects here in the near future. Around food truck, around food, and it's going to be interesting to see where that is going to take Takozz. Obviously, this is something that I'm doing. You know, this is Ramon. This is not Takozz organization. This is Ramon doing. You know, I like to stay busy and have a bunch of different ideas, and I like to explore those. But you will see a lot more things happening in our local area when it comes to food trucks, especially Collinsville. Mark my words.
Come on, Collinsville. You heard it first.
But whatchamacallit, a fleet of trucks, and hopefully start expanding into another QSR across the river in 5 years for sure. And then, start becoming a local regional name. And towards the end of that 5 years, probably by then we'll be set up. We will know how our business operates, and hopefully we can start selling the rights to the business for other people.
I love it. I think that's a great game plan. I think that you guys have the product, you have the heart, you have the work ethic. I think obviously it's right there in front of you. I'm very excited because I think that this is gonna, this conversation, you're gonna look back on it a couple years from now, and I think you're gonna be, having that fleet of trucks or having these things come to fruition, because I just think it's right there. And again, the food is phenomenal.
This is my accountability video, right? I'm going to be going back to this 5 years from now and see if I accomplish this or not.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Be like, hey, you remember this? Where you at, bro? Where you at?
I remember this.
Right. No, I love that. But
awesome.
So I've got about a minute here, so I'm just going to, kind of wrap things up a little bit. I appreciate, again, if you come in, sharing a little bit about your story, sharing about Takozz. For those who are interested, like I said, you've got the links down here on the bottom. I think it should be right underneath Ramon there. Feel free. And again, St. Clair Mall, they've got that brick and mortar store, so you can visit there anytime, like you said. And then, follow that schedule if you want to get to the truck itself. But thank you again for coming in, talking with me a little bit. I appreciate you, man. And I'm excited for the future for you guys, for sure.
No, man, thank you for the opportunity, and let me ramble a little bit. Like I said, this is my first time ever doing a podcast.
Yeah, you did great. Couldn't tell.
This is new to me, right? But this is awesome, man, and I wish you nothing but success with everything that you put yourself out there to do. I mean, this is maybe just the beginning of something very special that you have in your hands, man. So keep it up.
Yeah, I appreciate
Keep it up.
Appreciate you.
Keep going, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you let Shasta and Gia know that I love them, okay?
I will, man.
Absolutely,
thank you so much. And thanks to all your viewership and everything.
Of course. All right, man. Later.
All right, take it easy.
Awesome. So very fun conversation. Love talking to Ramon. Like I said, I've known him for quite a while now, and seeing Takozz rise up from being that taco truck that was, got limited events to now what they're doing. It was really inspiring to see, and learning more about his story was even more inspiring in that way, right? Seeing him chase those things, learning more a little bit about Lala was also very cool, very exciting. For anyone who's in the area, that St. Louis area, if you ever stop by, or if you're stopping by, I know I got some KC folks up here in the chat. Make sure Meeker, I'll tell you the truth, not many technical difficulties. I think this went through almost without a hitch so far. For sure. But yeah, you KC folks, you're part of the KC folks. Make sure if you're coming up and seeing us, if you're coming up and seeing family, let's get some tacos. You know what I mean? Let's go to St. Clair Mall. Let's see where the truck's at, and let's make that happen, because my God, their food is good. They've got amazing tacos. Obviously, they've got some quesadillas that are just out of this world good. The street corn, obviously a hit. Very, very, very good stuff. But yeah, loved having that conversation. And so for this Flemma Chats, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap these things up. Absolutely. Hey, we'll trade it off, man. Hey, absolutely. I'll go to the Jalapeno Brothers anytime. But yeah, we gotta go to Takozz next time you're up, for sure. that's it for this Flemma Chat for sure. I appreciate you guys coming by. Once again, you know, the whole idea of this is to talk about things that are either need some attention and we're trying to shine a light on it, or in cases like this, celebrating successes that we're seeing in the world, good stories, people that are doing good things, right, and bringing tacos to the world. Come on, what better thing is there than that? If you guys ever want to hang out, chat with me about something that you're feeling passionate about, something that you feel like needs a little more attention, feel free. Hit me up on social media. I'm at It's Flemma on most places. Twitter, Instagram, I believe, same way. The only place that I am anything else is here at twitch.tv/Flemmaverse. But for now, I appreciate you guys. Next time that we meet, it should be, I'll be interviewing actually the author of The End of Policing for our book club in March. Very excited about that. Very, very excited about that. Like, it feels crazy that that's going to happen. But we'll also be discussing the book after we talk to the author for a little while. So feel free to come by March 26th. I believe it's going to be 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So feel free, stop by, hang out with us on twitch.tv/Flemmaverse if you can watch it live, or you should be able to find the link to this video and that video on youtube.com/Flemmaverse as well. But for now, yeah, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Remember, be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves, take care of yourselves, and remember, you know, we all we got out here. So make sure you're taking care of those around you and yourselves as well.